continuation of Jungkook and Jimin's emotional moment. From a hug to a police car, oncoming police car, it began with a hug. Not just any hug, but one that seemed to carry the weight of years, unspoken fears, and a sense of release so powerful that even the cameras watching in silence could not capture its full depth. Jungkook and Jimin, two names etched not just into music charts, but into the living pulse of millions of people across continents, stood together in that fleeting instant, holding on like the world might crumble if they let go. And yet, what followed that seemingly tender gesture was a scene that no one in the crowd, nor anyone watching online, could have predicted. Flashing lights, raised voices, and the sight of a police car arriving to disrupt what felt like a moment of healing. How does one reconcile tenderness with turbulence? How does a hug transform into a headline involving law enforcement? That's the mystery that rippled through fandom circles, business forums, and even boardrooms that study the mechanics of global stardom. Because behind the emotional heartbeat of this story lies a deeper truth. Moments of vulnerability in public life often become the sparks that ignite conversations about identity, influence, and the strange currency of attention. At first glance, the hug seemed like closure. Jungkook, ever the golden magne with a voice that bends emotions into melody, and Jimin, the ethereal dancer whose presence could silence an arena, were finally seen without the masks of perfection that stardom demands. It was raw, it was human, but just as emotions reached their peak, something shifted in the crowd. The air thickened with tension. Security staff whispered into radios. And before anyone could make sense of it, a police siren cut through the night, slicing the moment into before and after. Now, why does this matter beyond the spectacle of celebrity? Because what unfolded in that space is a microcosm of a larger truth about life, growth, and business itself. No brand, no matter how untouchable, can exist without vulnerability. What builds connection isn't the flawless choreography or the polished perfection of an album release. It's the cracks, the unexpected interruptions, and the human responses to those interruptions. For Jungkook and Jimin, the hug was the setup. The arrival of the police car was the trigger. And the world watching, the millions refreshing their feeds, speculating, interpreting, became the stage where the climax played out. Some whispered of a misunderstanding in the crowd. Others spun theories of overzealous fans breaking boundaries. Yet deeper thinkers recognized that what mattered wasn't the literal reason for flashing lights, but the symbolism. Even the brightest stars can be thrown into chaos. And what defines them is not the chaos itself, but how they rise from it. Here's where the story transcends celebrity and enters the realm of branding genius. You see, in a world driven by noise, the most magnetic brands, whether individuals, companies, or movements, are those that allow audiences to see the full spectrum, the highs of triumph, the lows of conflict, and the raw middle where transformation occurs. Jungkook and Jimin's moment wasn't just a headline, it was a masterclass in the unexpected power of authenticity. Think about it in terms of business. When a company launches a flawless product but never admits its challenges, customers may admire it, but they don't feel with it. Yet when a brand acknowledges its struggles, whether through transparent storytelling, authentic leadership, or real-time vulnerability, suddenly it feels alive, relatable, even trustworthy. The same applies to personal growth. Every entrepreneur, artist, or dreamer knows that the hug comes with the police car, metaphorically speaking. Every breakthrough carries the risk of disruption. The question is, will you collapse under the lights, or will you hold your ground and let the world see how you navigate the storm? Halfway through the unfolding drama, a teaser surfaced online that only deepened the mystery. A fan-recorded clip, shaky but powerful, captured Jimin whispering something to Jungkook in the seconds before the officers arrived. The audio was muffled, unclear, and instantly became the center of speculation. What was said in that whisper? Was it reassurance? A plea? A reminder of something bigger? The ambiguity acted like gasoline on a fire. People stayed up all night replaying, analyzing, projecting. And therein lies another layer of insight. Curiosity, when carefully nurtured, becomes one of the most powerful forces in sustaining attention. Businesses spend billions trying to achieve what that one moment of uncertainty delivered effortlessly, a reason for people to keep watching, keep talking, keep caring. But suspense alone cannot sustain value. What closes the loop is resolution, or at least the promise of one. For Jungkook and Jimin, the eventual calm after the storm, the quiet exit, the respectful handling of the situation, the subtle bow they gave before stepping out of sight offered not scandal, but grace. And that, perhaps, is the ultimate lesson. The world doesn't reward those who avoid chaos, but those who transform chaos into continuity. Look at any great brand, any leader, any cultural phenomenon that has endured decades. You will find a pattern, a shocking hook that drew people in, a setup that built trust, a trigger that tested them, a climax that threatened to undo everything, and finally, a closure that did not erase the struggle but instead redefined it. This is storytelling. This is strategy. This is survival. Jungkook and Jimin may not have set out to give a lecture in branding theory, but their very humanity became 1.4 fans. The story is emotional. Two brothers in music embracing before a storm. For businesses and thinkers, the story is instructive. Authenticity sells, but only when paired with resilience. For dreamers, it is inspirational. Your most difficult moments might be the very thing that elevate your journey into something unforgettable. The hug and the police car are not just random events. They're metaphors we can all borrow. A hug is the symbol of unity, of finding strength and connection. A police car is the symbol of external forces, interruptions, and challenges that threaten that connection. Together, they remind us that life's greatest growth happens at the intersection of what we hold close and what we must withstand. So, where does that leave us now? With a choice. Will you watch stories unfold passively, consuming them like fleeting headlines, or will you learn from them, applying their lessons to your own journey, your brand, your business, your relationships? Jungkook and Jimin's moment is over, but its echo lingers, asking us to reflect. What will you do when your hug turns into flashing lights? How will you carry yourself when vulnerability meets disruption? If you're reading this, perhaps the answer is already within you. Perhaps you've been waiting for a reminder that growth doesn't come from safety, but from the storm. And perhaps this story has given you the clarity to move forward with authenticity, courage, and strategy. So here's the call to action. And it's not just for fans, it's for builders, creators, leaders, and dreamers. Don't shy away from your emotional moments. Don't hide when the lights flash. Lean in. Let the world see the whole spectrum. Because your greatest value isn't in being perfect, it's in being real and then being resilient. This was never just about a hug or a police car. It was about the power of moments and the transformation they invite. And if you've stayed with me through this story, let that be your premium takeaway. The world doesn't need another polished facade. It needs your raw, unshaken, authentic self, ready to turn even chaos into connection.